everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Yasmine. This is my husband Adam, as you guys know, and this is our little baby girl. She is finally here. I know a lot of you guys who follow me know that I almost made it to 42 weeks pregnant with her, so she's finally here. She was born on September 1st, 2020, and today's video is going to be her birth story. I really wanted to have Adam here with me because he was a really crucial part of her birth. So we're basically gonna just tell you guys what happened. I really feel like I had my dream birth. Like, I won't say it was easy, but it definitely was really amazing to experience. So let's tell them what happened. Oh, also, we're gonna be announcing her name in this video as well. So make sure you stay tuned for her name, which will be somewhere in the video. I don't know yet where we're gonna put it, but yeah. The last video you guys saw was us on my due date. We were trying to go on walks. We were doing a whole bunch of stuff to try to get her out. And my due date was on August 19th, which is so crazy because she really was not born in August at all. But on August 19th, we were walking, we were just trying everything. And my doula had told me about this concoction called midwife's brew. And it's basically castor oil. I mean, I know a lot of you guys are probably familiar with castor oil. It's very controversial. I don't want to debate in the comments about how dangerous it is or whatever. Yes, I tried it. I don't recommend it. I probably would not do it again ever. The midwife's brew is castor oil, lemon verbena tea, almond butter, and apricot juice. And you mix it all up in this disgusting smoothie and you drink it, and it's supposed to start your labor. So that was kind of like a really extreme measure. And I guess, when did I drink it? A few days after my due date?
Yeah, it was like a few days after.
Yeah. my doula came over and she made the brew for me, and I had to sit there and drink it within 30 minutes. It was so gross and hard to stomach. The purpose of the castor oil is to irritate your bowels, to get the contractions or pressure waves moving. I drank the drink around 7 p.m. that night. Immediately after, I started getting pains, and I was like, oh my God, I'm feeling stuff. And then my doula's like, okay, we're gonna walk for 45 minutes. So me, her, Adam, and my mom all went out and walked the neighborhood. Mind you, it's like super dark. It had just finished raining. It was like 9 o'clock, something like that. And we're just walking around the neighborhood, and the pains were getting worse. It was like cramping plus pressure waves plus like feeling like I have to poop, like all at the same time. This is all happening, and I had Adam timing the waves on his phone, and we're just walking, and it was probably one of the hardest walks I ever had to do in my life, because when you're having those type of pains, you just want to sit down. So we were walking, and they just got worse and worse, and in my mind I'm thinking, okay, this is working, it's working. Like, yes, we're probably gonna have a baby tomorrow. But we go home, and the doula left. She basically was like, let me know if anything happens. I was like, got you. A couple hours later, sorry this is TMI, this video might have some TMI moments, I'm sorry, but I got diarrhea so bad. I have never had diarrhea this bad in my whole life. Like, I used the bathroom I used the bathroom attached to our bedroom, and the smell would not go away. Adam like walked in our room, and he just was like
I walked right back out.
I could not stop pooping. Don't drink castor oil, guys. Just don't do it. I wasn't having any more consistent pressure waves. At this point, it just felt like I had my period. Adam was like, what were you doing? I don't even know what you were doing.
During that time?
Yeah.
I was in the war zone, you know.
Oh yeah, he was on the game.
Zone, you know.
I kind of told him, don't come in here because I don't want you to smell me like in this state.
I wasn't coming in there.
It was bad.
I knew what it smelled like.
Throughout the night, I was kind of in there by myself, just like, I had my heating pad on my stomach. I had taken a hot shower. I was trying everything to just soothe the pain because it was really bad. I think that is where I messed up, and that is why the brew did not end up working, because the next morning I woke up and I felt completely normal, my normal pregnant self. I texted my doula and I was like, I don't think it worked. And she's like, yeah, I don't think it worked either. Turns out, I think I relaxed myself too much, which I didn't know you could do. My midwife told me you can actually like using heat and like relaxing yourself too much can stop the labor pains. It can stop the pressure waves from coming. I really had hope for it, because my doula said 10 out of the 12 people she did it for, it worked for. So I don't know, those odds just seemed like it was gonna work, but it didn't. So after that, my midwife, I know I talked to you guys about how I was gonna get a membrane sweep, and I did get one. She came like a couple days later, I think. to do a membrane sweep. And if you don't know what it is, just Google it, because I don't really want to explain what it is. But basically, they sweep your cervix with their fingers, and it's supposed to get labor moving. And you have to be at least a little bit dilated for it to work. When she came to do the sweep, I was not dilated at all. So she ended up having to pop my cervix open to 2 centimeters. And she was really struggling to get a good sweep because I really wasn't dilated. And also at this point, there was no bloody show. There was no mucus plug. I had not broke, my water had not broken, nothing, literally nothing. I just had a belly, that was it. Yeah, she does the sweep and we just were waiting, and then nothing really happened. I got cramps, that was about it. And she had told me, like, if this doesn't work, I can do another one in a couple days. So I really didn't want to get another one. I was trying to, you know, jumpstart it after that. We were walking, we went on a lot of walks. We went hiking, we went to different parks. We were like really trying to get her out. The sweep didn't work. So she ended up coming back a couple days later to do the second sweep. And before that though, actually, in between the 2 sweeps, my best friend's mom, shout out to you, my auntie, she paid for me to have a massage, you guys. It was the most heavenly thing ever. And it was like a special, like a prenatal massage. It was supposed to help jumpstart, you know, labor. Didn't end up doing that, but it was so relaxing. Like, I definitely needed that massage. The massage therapist, she came to our house and she had everything set up in our living room, and it was about 75 minutes, I would say, around. And it was just so great. Like, she massaged me from my head to my toes and my belly, and I actually started feeling like cramps when she was doing it, so I was really excited. I was like, I think it's working. Yeah, that massage was great. So fast forward to a couple days later. This is when the story picks up. The midwife comes to do the second sweep, and she came late. She showed up late, so she showed up around like 5 o'clock. Comes, does the sweep. It was way easier for her to do it the second time because I was already dilated, about 2 centimeters, and super painful. I don't like the sweep. I know a lot of people say it just feels uncomfortable, it's not painful. Let me tell you, the sweep is painful. To me, it's very painful. I think I wanted her out so bad that I was just like, do anything. Please just do whatever you need to do to get her out. She does the sweep, and then they left.
They said, all right, I'll see you in a few hours. And right after,
hopefully,
yeah,
you didn't know if it was gonna work. I was hoping.
They was pretty confident, but they's like, we're gonna have a baby today. So I was like, all right. You know, after everything we went through the first 2 times, we kind of didn't have our hope. Like, we wished for it, but we didn't want to get too excited.
Yeah.
And once they left, she was having pretty much like consistent pressure waves, and it was starting to be real, you know.
They were mild though.
Yeah.
We went to Target. Tell them about Target.
Oh yeah, we went to Target. And she didn't really want to. She didn't really had to get nothing from Target.
I had to get some stuff from Target.
She just wanted to be walking around Target.
But I also wanted to walk around because every time in the past that I did anything, I walked after, and I felt like the walking was gonna like.
We went to Target. We get out all the things that we needed, and and I'm like, you ready to go? And she's like, oh no, let's keep. I think we want to check this section and that section.
I just wanted to walk around Target because it was. I would have walked around outside, but it was raining that day. So
yeah, and I don't like the rain, so I always work to be inside. So we get back to the house. No, we went to get Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah, we went to Chick-fil-A. Y'all, I was having Chick-fil-A cravings. I low-key still have them, but like it was something about Chick-fil-A. I just had like a moment where I was like, I need it now. And also, my ways at this point were probably, if I had to estimate, probably like 9 minutes apart. Were we timing them?
Not really, not at that point.
If I had to estimate, they were coming around every 9 minutes, and they were getting a little bit more painful. Still bearable though, not anything crazy.
We got ourselves some dinner, and
it was so good.
It was pretty good. She got a little ice cream and stuff like that, and little did we know that was the last meal.
That was our last meal before we had a baby. But it was bomb, man. Chick-fil-A's bomb.
We got home and we ate and stuff like that. Watched a movie. And
we watched a couple movies.
Yeah, watched a couple movies, and Then I guess I turned on a movie she didn't like. And,
oh wait. Before you say that part, I want to say, so after we got home after Chick-fil-A and all that stuff, we got home, we were watching movies. I want to mention that I was pretty active the whole time as the pressure waves were coming and getting stronger, and we were in there watching movies, but I was walking around, I was sitting on my ball, I was stretching. And I really recommend, for any of you guys who are about to have a baby, I recommend stay as active as you can, because I think in the long run that might have helped me, like, rather than just sitting down and like, it just helps you cope with the pain a little bit better if you're doing other stuff. Like, we also learned in our birthing class, like, when you're in the early stages of labor, just pretend that everything's normal. Do your normal light chores or like whatever you would normally do. And I think that helped me a lot mentally, because I wasn't like, oh my god, I'm in labor. It was just like, okay,
something's happening.
Yeah, I'm taking it slow. And it really helped. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we watched the movies, and you know, she ended up leaving me because I put on a movie that she didn't.
Yeah, you put on some like weird gladiator movie, and I was like, okay, bye.
But she was just sitting there. I was turning the on, so I thought she was okay.
Oh yeah, I didn't care. I was honestly
got up and left.
Yeah, I was in pain. I was like, I'm gonna just
like, all right,
I'm gonna go.
So she went into the room, started doing her own thing. What did you wash clothes and stuff? I
was washing clothes, y'all. I went in our room and I started watching a chick flick. My favorite thing. Yeah. I think I was watching Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
And the waves, at this point the waves are 7 minutes apart. I had stopped timing them on my phone because that just got annoying. I was doing it for hours. I was like, I don't really need to do this anymore. Just kind of was timing them in my head. So we're about 6-7 minutes apart. And what time was it? It was probably like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it was around that time.
At this point. I was in our room by myself, I was chilling. To be honest, I was in pain, but like I was really like, just
yeah, she was just chilling. Cause I had dropped into the war zone and
saying dropped into the war zone.
So I was just
he was playing the game. He was.
Cause I was like, maybe it's like
your last time.
No, I just maybe it was like cause you wasn't really like saying that you were kind of like I would say dumbing it down. Like you didn't express it like how, because I guess the first time when we did the brew, you was having the same similar situation. But
yeah, I was like, oh my god, I was like, ah. But when it was actually the real deal, I really wasn't freaking out.
She wasn't freaking out, so I'm like, okay, everything's all good. And well, not all good, but you know, she's going through something, but you know, it's only time can tell, you know. So
looking back, I think I just have a high pain tolerance because it really hurt. It was pretty painful. It was like a bad period.
She's in there watching a movie, and then I'm on the game, and then she texts me.
Oh, okay, so I was in the bed, right? And I heard a pop. And you know how everyone always says, like, when your water breaks, you're gonna hear this pop and this gush. And I was like, I was just laying there and I heard, and I felt it too. And I was like, oh my God, my water's breaking. And I was like texting Adam because I was not about to walk out there. I texted him, I just heard a pop, but there was no gush of anything. There's still nothing coming out of me. It was just, you know, the pains. And I go to the bathroom and I was trying to like move, and like I'm like, did my water break? And it just needs it needs help coming out. So I'm like on the toilet, like moving. Nothing happened. And so I'm just like, okay, whatever. I didn't even know he had texted me back. He had texted me back. I don't even know what you said.
I can't remember what I said either, but I know I texted you back, and then she comes out.
My dumb self. I didn't even look at my phone to see if he responded. I just went out there. I'm like, you never responded to me.
Yeah.
Because at this point, they're really, really strong. Like I said, I wasn't timing them, but if I had to guess, they're probably around 4 minutes apart at this point. My midwife had said when they get to 4 minutes apart, call us. And I had stopped timing them, so I really wasn't even like paying that much attention to how far apart they were. But they definitely were around 4 minutes apart at this time. I stopped watching the movie at this point. The movie became so relevant. The pain was getting there. It was like, okay, F this movie, like. And also, you guys know I talked about in my birth plan video how we took a hypnobabies course so I could use hypnobirthing during my pregnancy and my labor. And they have different tracks. You know, they have tracks for when you're in early labor. They have tracks for when you're not even in labor. They have tracks for when you're pushing. At this point, I should have been listening to my tracks. And I should have been gearing myself into that mindset. And I was like, should I turn on the Hypno Babies tracks when I was watching the movie? But I was like, I mean, this movie is distracting me enough and it's helping me enough. And I was just like, I don't really feel like listening to the tracks. So I wasn't even using the tracks, y'all. Like, I should have been using them, but yeah, they didn't get used for a minute. So go out there, he's on the video game, and I just wanted to shoot him at this point, because I'm like, it's happening, like it's getting real, like get off the game, like let's go. And so he's like, okay, I'm coming, but he wasn't moving fast enough for me. I was like, come on, like my stomach hurts. He's like getting himself off the game.
Getting himself off.
You took forever.
I really did not take forever. I got pretty much right up.
No, you didn't take forever. You did.
But
it just felt like forever
for you
to
was
me.
a little different.
When they were 4 minutes apart, I got in the shower and I did not care. At that point, I was like, the shower is not gonna reverse anything. I feel like things are picked up enough for me to get in the shower. And the pain was so bad, I was literally on all fours in the shower, like rocking back and forth. He starts timing the pressure waves and I'm in the shower, like on all fours, like just in so much pain. And I'm like, okay, this is what pressure waves are. I'm like, this is when they really start to feel like, you know, what everyone had been talking about. And I was like breathing through each one. And I'm also like telling Adam to call everyone. I'm like, okay, I think this is it. Yeah. It was like 1 a.m. Was it like 1 a.m.?
Yeah, it was around 1 a.m. It was 1 a.m. I wanted to make sure it was actually the right, you know, I was making sure it was the, what is it called? Like the
real deal.
Yeah, the real.
Because everyone's always like, first time moms, you know, they just call everyone and it's always too early.
Up in the middle of the night.
And I didn't want to be that first time mom that woke everyone up at 1 a.m. and it was for nothing. And I was like, I think that's why I waited so long. I shouldn't have waited this long, you guys. But I just really did not want to be the stereotype.
But she was handling the pain really well, like comparing to how far along she was at the time. Mm-hmm. So we were timing them, and as I was timing them, I was texting, you know, the doula and the midwife and things like that. I was talking to the doula first, and she was actually, you know, asking me questions about what's going on.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot to say that I threw up. Oh wait, did I not throw up yet?
You did. You threw up before you got in the shower.
Before I got in the shower, I threw up all my Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Like, literally all of it. And then I went on to throw up like 4 more times after that, like over the course of like an hour or two.
Yeah, so texting all of them, and I'm updating them about everything that's going on, and I told them that she threw up, and everybody was like, what? She threw up? And apparently throwing up is a sign of active labor, and I didn't know that. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so everybody was like in a panic after that. Like, not in a panic, but like everybody was like pretty much like, all right, we're on our way. Yeah, we're coming. So he was like, oh wow, so it's the real deal. And so they was on their way. They came about they got there about 30 minutes after, you know, 40 minutes after the text.
Okay, she is gone. Y'all, she's knocked out. She's milk drunk and knocked out. Okay, so finish, go ahead.
So,
how many minutes?
Talk like the guy from Ant-Man, how he told the stories.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
So, how many minutes apart were they? 3?
They were pretty much like they were ranging in between 2. Actually, I would say they were ranging between 1.5. Well, like 1? Yeah, like it was something that was like 1:30. Yeah, like 1 minute 30 seconds. So like 4 minutes. It was weird because it was changing. There's nothing that it was. They said it wouldn't be consistent. Like it wouldn't be a consistent number until it's like actually time for her to start like pushing and things like that.
Yeah, it was way too late to be calling everyone. I was like, Adam, call everyone. My mom wasn't answering the phone, and in our head, like we had planned out like who we were gonna call in order. So my mom didn't answer the phone. She was asleep. My sister answered the phone.
I knew to call her because she don't sleep.
Yeah, my sister does not sleep.
Yeah.
She's always up. So
she's like an owl.
She was up. And she got my mom up and they were on their way too.
Yeah.
So.
And then I called my mother because my mother's always up.
Always
too.
up.
So my mother, but she actually missed the first call, but she called me right back, which was crazy because she said she had just went to sleep, but it sounded like it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon for her. But I was told her like, yeah, our families live around the corner from each other.
Yeah.
So I was like, you can call her mother and
they just came together,
carpool or something like that, and they came together right after all the phone calls and things like that. We worked our way to the bedroom again after her shower. She said it helped her a little bit, and once we worked our way to the other our bedroom, and she went to the bathroom again and continued to puke. And, so
it was a lot, man. Like I don't like puking, so the fact that I was throwing up really like alarmed me. I was like, this is crazy. Like,
look at them eyebrows.
She's so cute. I only throw up when I'm on my period, usually, if anything, or if I have food poisoning, which is really rare. But yeah, I don't like throwing up. I only threw up once my whole pregnancy, not counting when I was in labor, but wherever I felt comfortable is where I went. So after I finished puking, I ended up on the bathroom floor.
Yeah.
On all fours again.
Yeah, then we got her, you know, she started listening to her hypno.
Oh yeah, I was like, Adam, bring the hypnobirthing track in here.
So I brought the hypnobirthing in there. She was on her ball. A good way to be on the ball in that time is on your knees, but like hanging over the ball like that.
Yeah, I was like hugging it and then rocking back and forth.
When I went in there and brought the track, she was kind of in her zone, so I turned off the light and kind of opened the door so she can speak and it wouldn't be like pitch black. But
yeah,
you know,
that was nice.
It helped her, she said, and once she got in that zone, she just went in her zone. So
yeah, he turned the light off. Yeah. I didn't even have to ask him. I really wasn't trying to talk too much, you guys, because he was asking me questions here and there. Like when he was calling everyone, he kept asking me questions. I just was like, Adam, I can't. I was trying not to be rude, but I was like, I cannot talk to you right now. Like I really need you to figure this out, because if I talk, it's gonna break, and I'm gonna break, and I'm not gonna be able to like do this.
We end up coming up with the solution of doing a thumbs up, thumbs down, and that worked pretty well. Yeah. Once she got in her zone on the floor with the medicine ball, and not the medicine, but the yoga ball, and her hypnobirthing track, she kind of, you know, took over from there. Once she took over, I decided to, you know, set the mood of how she wanted the birth to be, which was turning off all the lights, lighting candles, and preparing for everybody to come for, you know, preparing for the village to show up. Once the village showed up, you know, it was already pretty much good. Like we had the pool set up, and you know,
oh yeah, it was
I didn't
great.
Do it right
like
the first time, but they fixed it.
So yeah, he set everything up. All the lights were out. It helped so much. Like the lights were getting on my nerves, but I wasn't even paying attention to the lights. But the fact that he just turned them off helped a lot. Eventually, I left the bathroom, ended up in our bedroom again on the floor on all fours, and I'm just like I'm really trying to breathe, but it was hard as hell to just breathe. It was such a simple thing. It was so hard.
Yeah, it's important to have somebody there to like keep reminding you to breathe and just give you water and things like that. And just to be there, it's like when you watch a boxing match or fight, you know, and they once they go in for that 3 minutes of fighting, and which is like the pressure waves, they go back to the corner for a minute, and they get coached up, they get water, they get, you know,
that was literally like the break. The break in between the waves, you guys. Oh my God. It was like once the wave ended, I was fine for literally like 2 seconds, and then it was back. And then that little window was when I actually like noticed that the lights were out, and then people just started appearing. I didn't hear anyone come in the door. I didn't hear anything. I just saw the doula showed up. She shows up and she just jumps right into it.
Everybody really just went right in.
She starts massaging me. She starts showing Adam how to like press on my back. Oh my God. The best. Like they started pushing on my butt. I don't know what it was about that, but every time I had a wave, they would both push and like squeeze my back, my lower back and my butt. And I swear to God, that like helps me my whole labor. Like Adam was doing that for hours. I don't know how he was doing it, but he was like squeezing, and the squeezing just made each one so much more bearable. First the doula arrived, then the midwife. There was 2 midwives. So we have our real midwife, and then she has a student. And we had agreed to let the student come. She's pretty much almost a full-fledged midwife. She only had to do 1 more birth, which was our birth, and then she literally became
midwife.
A midwife. So
and
she's great.
She was there for all our meetings and things like that.
Yeah, so we knew her, and she's awesome.
Really cool.
She's like, okay, I really want to check you. I want to see how dilated you are. Like, do you think you can get on the bed? It took me like 10 minutes to even get on the bed and get to a point where I could lay still for her to check me because I was in so much pain. Eventually, I ended up on the bed.
At that moment, when she's doing her check, me and the doula was kind of she whispered in my ear and she's like, yeah, she's probably not that far along, so it's gonna be
based on how I was talking.
Yeah, based on how she was talking, reacting, and acting, and responding to the pain that that's what everybody's used to is someone being really vocal and louder or just not being able to bear it at that point where she was at. So she told me she whispered me like she's probably like 4 centimeters. And at that moment when she said she was 4 centimeters, the midwife said she's 8 centimeters.
She's like, she's an 8. I'm calling it's an 8.
Yeah.
And all of us were like, what?
Yeah.
8?
What?
I was shook.
Shocked. So
I was shook.
So it was like at 8, pretty much 8 centimeters, you're having a baby.
Yeah.
You're on the way.
I was shook, you guys. I think what kept me going that long, part of it was denial. I was in so much denial. I was like, I feel like this is supposed to hurt a little bit more. I didn't want to wake everyone up for that. So I just assumed that I was gonna be doing this all night. I was like, this is gonna be a super long labor.
When I first texted the doula, I was like, I think it's time for you to come. And she was like, are you sure? How's everything? At the time, I was having trouble reading the chart for the pressure wave chart. So I just told her like, based off of what I've seen in the classes we watched and things like that, I was like, I think you might have some time, And then once I mentioned that the royal as part, that's when everybody kind of like, oh, we passed that. We need to come.
Yeah.
And so we found out how dilated she was. Everybody was like, what? So that's when we continued to press on her.
Yeah, I just was in the room and listening to my hypnobirthing track. If you guys have never heard it, it's this woman talking and she's like, we are in our state.
Yeah, with like massage parlor
she's just
type
talking
of music.
And honestly, she got kind of annoying towards the end, but her voice really helped me. I don't know what it was. It was just her reminding me to breathe. Adam and the doula reminded me to breathe and just relax. I don't know who said it. Someone's like, the pool's ready. And no one was talking. Oh, my mom had showed up too. My mom came in. She's like, hey. And everyone was being super quiet and tiptoey and no one was talking. It was hella people there, you guys. It ended up being my mom, his mom, the doula, both of our midwives, and then another student who had been coming to our appointments. She showed up. I didn't know she was gonna be there, but I didn't really care that she was there, to be honest. Her and also my sister showed up too, because she was there to take photos and stuff. And then also the midwife had brought her kids, but her kids were not in the way. They were literally, I didn't even know they were there until after everyone left.
Nobody knew they were there.
Her kids were there. They were in the baby's room.
Yeah.
I think they were asleep, to be honest.
They weren't asleep, but they just were chilling. It wasn't their first rodeo. So.
And it was a lot of people in our apartment, and I really didn't mind. No one was being loud. No one was even walking around. Everyone was just sitting down, just like sitting there.
But there was a lot of experienced mothers there, so everybody knew how to make themselves scarce in the moment. So
but they're like, someone's like, the pool is ready, and they had blown up the pool. I walk out in our living room where the pool was. The pool was right next to. It was like right in front of our island area. Yeah. It just looks so peaceful out there. This was in between pressure waves, so I'm like looking around. There's candles. I'm like, wow, this is really happening. I'm like, we're really about to have a baby. So I get in the pool and instantly, like, it helps so much. If you guys are about to have a home birth, I recommend you go for the pool. It did cost extra, but I would totally recommend the pool. If water is something that helps relax you, water definitely helped relax me. It was the perfect temperature. They kept checking the temperature, making sure there was enough water, making sure it stayed warm. It never really got cold. It got a little cold at one point, but it rarely got cold. And I was in there for hours. So yeah, I got in the pool and pretty much ended up back on all fours again in the pool. And I was leaning over the side of the pool and then also on all fours and like kind of alternating between those two positions. And they were trying to make sure I was drinking water. I didn't really want to eat or drink anything. I really didn't want to eat anything. I had thrown up so much, and even when I was drinking water, it felt like I was going to throw that up too. Like my body just did not want anything in my body.
It's like we got to get everything out.
Yeah, so I was taking sips. I was trying to breathe. I was in that pool. It just was getting harder and harder. And how long was I at the pool for? At this point, it's probably like 3 a.m. Was it
like
3 hours?
Everybody got there at 3 a.m. when I checked on the text.
So maybe like 2 hours?
Yeah, it was
she was
still
born,
3 hours.
She was born at 6:56 a.m. And I got in the pool probably around 4 or something like that.
Probably like, yeah.
So
3,
it felt like
4.
such a long time to me. But yeah, I'm in the pool. Adam is pushing on my butt still. Every single time I had a wave, he was there. And his hands were shaking, you guys. Like, he was doing it for, I don't know how he was doing that for hours, because it really actually took a lot of force. Like, he was like pushing really hard, and every time I had a wave I was like, Adam, and like he would come, or him and the doula were kind of doing it together, but it was mostly him doing it.
I was just in the mindset like, we both in this. I want to be just as much a part of it as much as I can. You know, it's her show, but I want to be you know, as much part of it as possible.
Yeah.
So any time I had the chance to do something, I was going to be there to do it. And
he was so great.
Even when my hand was hurting, I still wasn't the person that had the most pain in the room. You know what I mean? So I was like, that kind of helped me push through.
I felt kind of bad. I was like, he's probably so sick of like pushing on my butt, but I was like, I need this right now.
And I had the doulas. We had the doula, so you know, we when I couldn't go no more, you know, we swapped out. You know, and that helped, you know, but you know, she can't swap out giving birth, so it's like, you know, what does that mean?
I think she's waking up.
Yeah.
I reached a point where, I'm not even gonna lie, in my head I was like, okay, now I see why people get epidurals. I was like, if I was in the hospital, I probably would be like, I need an epidural, because pain was crazy. Even though the pain was really bad, I feel like what kept me going was I just was telling myself, this is temporary. You just have to get through this next one. You just have to get through this next one. Just keep breathing through this one. And they don't last that long. Like, the waves really don't last long. It's just when they get to the peak, it's like you just want to die. Like, and I'm not trying to scare anyone, because that feeling really does not last long enough. You have more relief than pain, I would say, throughout the entire process. So even though the pain was very intense, I don't want to say it was horrible, but it was very intense. It's possible to breathe through them and really like focus in on yourself. And I think not talking, I really was trying not to talk. Towards the end, I definitely was making some sounds. They were very primal sounding, grunts. Just trying to, like, you know, not scream. I really did not want to scream. I didn't feel like screaming was gonna help me in any way. It was just more like, like, I don't know, those type of sounds. Making sounds helps, but screaming, I would not advise doing that, even though I didn't do it. It just would make it worse. Just try not to scream. And breathing helps. At this point, it was almost time for me to start pushing. I had the doula sitting in front of me. My mom was sitting next to her. Adam had gotten in the pool at this point. He went and changed his clothes. I didn't even see him leave. He gets in the pool, and he had said he wasn't gonna get in the pool at all because it was gonna be gross.
He asked for the rebozo, so I had to be in the pool for the rebozo.
I did ask for that. So a rebozo is basically just like a scarf, and you just use it to kind of lift up your belly, and it really helps relieve the pressure of, you know, your belly. And he got in the pool and he was doing that, and then also pushing on my back, and he was just, you were great.
Yeah.
You were really great. Could not have done it without him. I really could not have. Like, there was a couple times where I didn't say Adam, or I didn't like ask him to push on me. I really kind of wanted to see what it would feel like, because he'd been pushing on me for hours, like every time I had a wave. And the couple times that he didn't do it, or I didn't ask him to do it, it felt like I had like, it's like when you're in the pool and you let go of the side of the pool and you're like all by yourself, just like, and you can't really swim, but you're like, you let go of the training wheels. That's how it felt. Like I felt like I was all alone, really bad. I was like, okay, no, I need him to push on my back again, because I could not, you know, get through the waves without, you know, that, just his hand there, I think is what helped. I start feeling like it's time to push. And everyone says like, you're gonna get this feeling like you have to push, you have to poop. And I didn't really 100% get that feeling. It didn't feel super strong. Oh, are you hot? I think she's hot. So I start feeling like I have to poop a little bit, but it wasn't very strong. And I'm like asking the midwife, I'm like, should I start pushing? I'm like, is it too early? I don't want to mess anything up. I didn't want to start pushing too early. I didn't want to tear. That was also something in my birth plan. I did not want to tear. I was like, y'all need to make sure you take every measure to make sure that I don't tear, please. Like, that is just such a no-no for me. I just did not want to tear. I was so scared of getting stitches. I've never had stitches before in my life. I didn't want the first time I got stitches to be down there. I had a lot of anxiety around that. So I'm like, should I start pushing now or like what? Because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. They're just like, go with the flow, listen to your body. Like if you feel like you need to push, you can push. And I had a pillow and a towel. I'm leaning over the edge of the pool like this with the pillow, which ended up getting trashed. But I'm leaning over, Adam's behind me, my mom's in front of me holding my hands. I'm like leaning over the pool like this, and I'm squeezing the crap out of her hands every time the wave came. I just started pushing. Like I just started doing it. I just started trying. I ended up pushing for only 18 minutes. And when I first started pushing, it felt like nothing was happening. I was like, this is never gonna happen. She's never coming out. In my mind, I'm like, oh my God, like this is gonna take forever. I'm gonna be pushing for hours. And I'm just like I'm trying to push. It sounded like I was pooping. I was hoping I didn't actually poop. I definitely peed in the pool a couple times. I didn't tell Adam I peed in the pool until a couple days later. But he
peed in the pool too.
No, you didn't. Shut up. As I was trying to push, a little pee came out in the water, and Adam was also in the water, and I just did not care. I was like, whatever. He just going to stand in my pee. He's about to be standing in a lot more stuff. So Adam, you said that the midwife knew I was about to push before I knew.
Yeah, she was just pretty much saying like every time you made a certain noise, she knew what time it was.
Yeah. And
based off of her expressions and her noises she was making, she was like, she would check with Yasmine and be like, hey, what type of noise is that? What's going on? You know,
I was like,
are you feeling the pressure now?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, like in my bottom, like
she was chilling the whole time, and once she said that, it was like at that point where it was, you know, pretty much time.
Who was chilling? The midwife?
Diane, yeah, the midwife.
Oh yeah.
She was sitting back, laid back.
They were literally just sitting down, like waiting.
Everybody was just waiting.
They were just like.
She was just like, all right. And everybody just then she said, once she made a certain noise,
everybody got up.
Started.
Everyone just stood up.
Gloves on and things like that.
Little did I know that was like it was starting. So I was pushing, and I felt just all this pressure that ended up being the baby's head, and my water broke around this time, because like I said, when I was laboring, like before everyone got there, my water never broke, never lost my mucus plug, never got any blood, nothing. I'm like trying to push. I'm trying to wait for each pressure wave to come before I push, because that's what they say in the TV shows, like make sure you push on the contraction, make sure you do it while it's happening. So that's what I was trying to do. I hear everyone talking, like I hear the midwives talking behind me like, oh, this baby might be born in call, which is basically when your water doesn't break and the baby is born in the sac. And they're like, yeah, her water didn't break and yada yada yada. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what do you mean she's gonna be born in call? And then like the midwife's trying to explain to someone else what that means. She's like, yeah, that's when the baby is in the sac and it's really, really rare. And I'm like, oh my God, like what is happening? Like why did my water not break? Then like a couple seconds later, my water breaks. I didn't feel anything, okay? I'm standing up, because what I didn't know is when you have a water birth, you have to either give birth 100% in the water, or you have to be out the water. You can't be like half in, half out. I was on all fours and I wasn't completely in the water, and I did not feel like I could sit down and give birth. Like I had tried different positions. I stood up, tried to lay on my back, I always ended up on all fours. I couldn't get my body completely submerged in the water. It just was not gonna happen. So I ended up standing up and squatting, which was the second best thing to being on all fours. It felt the most natural to me. Yeah, I'm just squatting and they're like, your water broke. Didn't feel a thing. I'm like, okay, great. I'm just trying to focus on pushing. I'm like, every time a wave comes, I'm like I'm really trying to push. And to be honest, I always envisioned pushing to be the most painful part of this whole experience. Pushing was the least painful. Like, if anything, it felt kind of good to have something to do. Cause like, I had been just like riding each wave, trying to breathe. It feels good to finally have something to do and something else to focus on as the pain is happening. On one push, I felt her head and it felt like a bowling ball was in my crotch. Like literally, I was like, oh no. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this is what this feels like. I was going nuts in my head. Like, I cannot push this baby out. I cannot. And then I was like, yes, you can. Yes, you, like half of me was like rooting for myself and the other half was like, oh my God, like how is this real? And at one point I'm like, Yasmine, just do it. Just do it. Just push her out. Once you push her out, all the pain will end. Just do it. So I start grunting and pushing and they're like, okay, her head's coming. And her head was, we have a video, which I watched a gazillion times. This is the only way I know this. But her head was coming out slowly and they had told me to slow up because if you push the baby out too fast, that's how you tear. And like I said, I didn't want to tear. So the whole time I was pushing, she was pressing on my perineum with a warm rag, which is supposed to help with not tearing too, which I didn't know till after. They just wanted me to push her out slower, which was really hard because when her head is, when the head is right there, all you really want to do is just push. Like you just want to like get it over with. But I was trying to listen to what everyone was telling me to do. I started to slow up. And they're like, just wait for this next contraction and then you can start pushing again, which was so hard because I just wanted to push. And so I waited, I was trying to be patient. And as soon as the next one came, I start going at it again. I'm like, and I start pushing and her head just pops out as she's telling me, reach down and feel your baby's head because I really wanted to feel like as it was coming out. That was also in our birth plan. I reached down, oh my God, you guys, it was crazy. I reached down and I just felt hair. And it felt slimy and hairy and round. I was like, oh my God. Like in my head, I think I even said, oh my God. I'm freaking out. Throughout this whole process, you kind of forget that there's a baby at the end of it. Like you're so focused on the pain and you're so focused on getting through the pain and getting through each wave that I honestly low-key forgot that the baby was even gonna be like the goal. As soon as I touch her head, like her head pops out. And everyone's like, oh. And her head kind of just is there. It's just dangling there. And Adam, in the video, you can see Adam's hands like trying to reach. He's like gonna catch her because you wanted to catch her, right? Was that in the birth plan? I don't remember.
I don't know. I just was there because it just for extra hand support.
Yeah, so like the midwife had her hands and Adam's hands were there to catch her too. And I'm still squatting, standing up, and I'm just like, ugh. And after that, her body like flies out a couple minutes later and everyone starts cheering and they're like, yay. And I was just, y'all, after the baby was out, instant relief, like instantly, like 90% of the pain stopped. Adam catches her and the midwife catches her at the same time and they both bring her up between my legs and I grab her and I hug her and it was just, okay. I'm telling them about how I grabbed you. She's so cute. Oh my God. I just want to cry. So I grab her and we were all standing up and as soon as I grab her, the midwife's like, Yasmine, sit down, sit down. Yeah, so I sit down. Adam sits down in the pool with me and all the blood and grossness. Like, I was really surprised he did that.
I was trying to help you. Because she said sit down and you just was like kind of out of it.
I just had a baby. I was like, sit down, why?
I was just trying to hope you didn't like collapse. So that's why I got behind.
That was a definite possibility. Yeah. I almost collapsed
so I
later.
wanted you to, I kind of got under your arms so you wouldn't collapse.
He's sitting behind me. I'm sitting like in his lap, kind of, and I'm holding the baby. And we got our first look at her. Everybody was crying. I was crying. Adam's crying. My mom.
I teared up a little.
You was crying.
I was a little tears.
I knew he was
went
gonna cry.
Back up.
I've been saying for months he was gonna cry. The tears were just flowing, and my
she
mom.
She loves her hand again.
Oh yeah, she loves her hands. She was born, you guys. She was born with her hand in her face. That was why it took. She was hanging there for a while because her hand was up in her face, and like even in our sonogram pictures, you can see her with her hands like up in her face. And now she eats her hands all day. It's hilarious. She loves her hands. But oh, my baby, you eating your fingers? So yeah, we're kind of just sitting there. We're just staring at her. You guys, her eyes were wide open. She was so alert, like just from jump. Her face was so round, her eyes were so huge. She just was looking up at us like, oh my God, that was a lot. Like, you could tell it was a lot. It's probably so crazy to be pushed through a birth canal. Like, I cannot imagine at all. But yeah, so the midwives, and I mean, after that, you know, all the regular stuff happened. They start suctioning her. They pump try to get all the fluid out of her. We're kind of just sitting there for a second, just like looking at her, and it was a crazy moment. It was just like, you just study her little face, and she's looking at your face, and it was crazy. And then eventually, I mean, that's pretty much the whole story. After that, yeah, some other stuff happened. Just so you guys know, I did tear. So I did end up tearing. I get out the water, because I'm like, this water is kind of gross. Oh, I gave birth to the placenta too. I feel like people don't really talk about that. That is weird. Like, it's like you're sitting there and the cord's still inside you, and it took a few minutes, but eventually she told me to cough. The midwife said cough, and my placenta just gushes out, and it feels like you're giving birth to a jellyfish. We kept her attached to the placenta for probably around an hour. Was it an hour?
Yeah, it was like,
which is what we wanted to do. We wanted to keep her on there and let her get all of the, you know, the nutrients and blood from the placenta. We had it in a bowl. And Adam, when I had to get out the pool and go get, you know, everything checked out down there. And Adam was holding her, and they had a little moment. And did you do skin to skin? Mm-hmm. She's about to start crying, I think. They did skin to skin, and you guys, I almost passed out. When I got out the pool, like, I got out the pool, I couldn't hear anything. Like, all the sound, just everyone talking to me, asking me questions. I can't hear anything. I felt like I was about to black out, and I just kind of forced myself not to. But apparently that's normal, because you lose a lot of fluid all at once. You lose a lot of blood, and it's just a lot. Ended up tearing. Didn't need stitches. I did tear a little. It was 1st degree tears. And you know, after that they weighed her. Big burp. So they weighed her. She was 7 pounds, 11 ounces. She got on the boob. She latched on pretty quickly. We had to work on her latch for a few days, which I'll talk about breastfeeding in another video, because that is just a whole other story. She latched on really well. It was just great. It was great. Okay.
The experience was amazing, life-changing. I would say that if you are going through it, I would say to try the best. You know, what she did was she kind of handled it internally. She kind of was. Yeah.
She's nursing now. Sorry.
Yeah, you know, handling your waves and stuff internally and not external. I feel like. You
mean like not screaming and freaking out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that really helped. Just trying to be calm and having a calm environment.
Yeah.
You're just a calm person in general. So I mean, he always has a calm vibe. He never freaked out once. Like, even when I was like kind of snapping at him, like to just do this or call this person or whatever, or you just remained chill, and you remained like you had it under control. I definitely had a positive experience. Aside from the pain, I don't believe that you forget the pain. Everyone kept telling me like, you're gonna forget all about it after. I didn't forget anything, okay? I remember the pain. but it's definitely bearable and it's not impossible. I feel like when people talk about birth, they talk about it like it's just this impossible thing. Throughout my pregnancy, everyone would DM me horror stories, people would DM me really negative things, tell me I was gonna have to get induced, tell me I wasn't gonna be able to do it. Literally, like, when I would tell people I was having a home birth, every time I always got a weird, crazy face, like, oh, you're doing a home birth. Like, I never got like a, oh, that's interesting. Like, nothing, everyone was just like outraged for me, like, aw, I hope that goes well. It just sounded like no one believed that it was like normal or possible. Like, everyone just was acting like the hospital was just gonna be the end all be all for birth, and it's really not.
You know, the home birth is good because you're creating your birth experience. And having a birth in the hospital is like the normal.
It is the
normal
norm.
thing. So
yeah.
When you say that they're having a home birth, they don't even understand, have an idea of where that would probably start. You know.
I mean, to each their own. If you feel like the hospital is the best place for you, do that. If you feel like home is the best place, do that, because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to give birth. So wherever you feel the most comfortable is where you should be. And I just felt like home was gonna be the best place. Like, you guys, Adam was able to just hop right in the shower after I gave birth. Like, we took a nap in our own bed after she was born. We had all our food right there. I was able to eat throughout my labor, even though I didn't, but I had the option. Like, I didn't have anyone telling me I couldn't eat. I didn't have anyone coming in there. There was no bright lights, there was no interventions. Everyone was asking me what I wanted the whole time. I had complete control. It just felt normal. It felt natural.
It's your rules, you know, it's your world. It's your house, your world, your zone. You know, we just here to assist.
It was great. Like, I loved it. Afterwards, everyone left and our moms were still there. They took the baby for a few hours so we could get some sleep, and oh man, we needed those few hours of sleep, because the first few, everyone acts like you're gonna be sleep deprived forever. For us, at least, I don't think the sleep deprivation has been that bad, as everyone says. It was pretty bad like the first 4 or 5 days. It's been pretty good. Like, she really sleeps a lot. She's not a really fussy baby. She never really cries. She's such a chill baby. I don't want to say she's a good baby. I don't like when people say, you know, I have a good baby, because I feel like that implies like some babies are bad, and I don't think any babies are bad, but she's a really good baby. She's just great. But that's our birth story. I loved it. I loved every minute. It was the most amazing night of my life. Morning, it was morning. And I really wanted to give birth in the morning too. That's crazy. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to control that, but if I could control it, I would give birth right at sunrise, and that's exactly what happened. Like, as I was pushing her out, the sun was coming up, and it was crazy. It was nice. It was really nice. Should we announce her name? That's her name. And that's the end of this video. I don't know what else to say. I'm rambling now. Being new parents it's been great, but it's been hard.
Yeah, it's definitely the hardest thing I've ever done.
You've ever done?
Yeah. I mean,
it's pretty hard, but it's so worth it. Like, she's so cute.
Definitely the hardest thing ever.
She's so cute though. She makes up for it in cuteness.
Yeah, it's worth it though. It's like something you're not even thinking about it, because even though it's hard,
it's just something you have to do.
Yeah, you're like, who else is gonna do it?
We've had help this whole time too. My mom has been here. His mom.
Been huge help.
Man, we needed it. Like, I think we might have starved if we didn't have my mom here.
Starved, freaked out. We independent.
Yeah, we'll go into all that in another video. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed hearing our birth story, and I will see you guys in my next video.